Well, it's almost 1 p.m. right now, and I'm basically making this video. There is no noise right now, but if you can see the area that I'm in, it's called Cicero Swamp. Cicero. It's in Cicero, New York. If you look on your maps, Cicero, New York is right about somewhere in the middle of New York State. Uh, Cicero Swamp is quite a big area. It's very rural, as you can see around you. I'm filming this to show you that if I do hear the noise at my house, which I've heard it 5 times now, 5 different days, since December 6th of this year. I didn't even become aware that this noise was going on until a few days prior to that. I did a bunch of research. Once you associate yourself with the 7 or so different noises that are associated with this noise, and you go outside at various times, if it's out there, you will definitely be able to tell that that is the sound. In my opinion, it's not a plane, it's not a train, it's not anything that's natural that's making that noise. Uh, Last night it was so loud it sounded like a freight train going by about 2 blocks from my house. It was probably about the threshold of those 2 cars that just went by. That's about how loud the noise was. And it's a freight train noise. I'll give you some of my own thoughts on the matter. I know that there's a lot of people that are out there debunking these videos that people are making, and certainly I am sure there are several people that are hoaxing it. But out of the over 100 videos that I've seen of it so far and listened to, I've been able to pick out, and I'm no expert on anything, I've been able to pick out probably 5 or 6 of those that are definitely hoaxes. And even if there's a handful of other people that have copied other people's sounds and put them onto theirs, at let's say it's another 15 or so that I missed, I would say probably 80% of them are real, in my opinion, of people just like myself grabbing a cell phone, going outside and recording it. And by the way, my recording device is an iPhone 5, and I have a YouTube account. And basically what I do, I have no skills on video editing and cropping sounds and pasting them into videos and crap like that. What I pretty much do is come out, record it, and then once it's recorded, I go home, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi, I go into my iPhone, I view the video, and I say upload to YouTube, and that's pretty much it. That's what it is. So the couple of videos that I have up so far that you can hear it, you almost need headphones. It was at a very low threshold at that point. That's how those videos were posted. You don't have to take my word for it. But you know, there are some people that I've gone on because I am trying to research for myself to find out what it is that could possibly be causing this noise. And in the process of looking online to try to get some opinions, because we're getting nothing officially on it, you're left to your own wits as to what you may assume that it may be. I know there are a lot of people and websites out there that are trying to debunk these videos, and certainly the handful of ones they can, certainly I'm sure you can debunk anything and you can disbelieve anything and you can have all kinds of theories on it. But when you start listening and then you start hearing the sound for yourself, and it's those same associated sounds, then you go, okay, something is definitely up. This is not a factory that's over off in an island somewhere outside of Alberta, Canada, that changed something in the process a year ago, because this is happening all over the world. I've heard it 5 times so far. Last night, by far, was the loudest. The noises are, the different noises that I've associated with is, it's like a train rumbling over tracks way off in the distance, or a prop plane way off in the distance. Only those planes or trains never pass for 3, 4, 5 hours straight when it's happening. Also, along with that noise, yeah, there's some hunters out in the woods there. And that's like a plane. I don't know, because those bangs and that noise is also associated with it. Strange, but I'm going to go with a plane and just some hunters. Anyways, the different noises are that sort of a rumbling hum. Sometimes it's also percussed, almost like you were to cup your hands and put them over your ears and then beat your ears in and out really rapid like a drum. Sometimes it's broken up and percussed like that. Sometimes it's a steady hum. Yeah, it's definitely a plane. And sometimes there's little rumbling firework bangings that go in with it. And usually when that's happening, that's a plane. But when you're out and for 3 or 4 or 5 hours and you hear that noise like that and that plane never passes, then you go, okay, that's not a plane. And it doesn't go from one side of the sky to the other. It seems to be coming from all over. But I think, now that I mentioned sky, I'll mention that in a minute, what my thoughts are on sky or ground. One of the sounds is the hum. The other sounds, and certainly in some areas, you get 2 or 3 of these sounds mixed in together. Some have 4 or 5 of the sounds mixed in together. But once you associate yourself with all the several sounds that are associated with it, you will then become aware of what it is when you hear it yourself. And another noise that comes in and out is this metal bending, people describe it as, or metal screeching noise. I am a professional firefighter by trade. I have been for over 25 years. I have no reason to make bogus videos and scare people. And at work, we have these metal bunk beds that when you drag them across the concrete floor, somebody is down on the floor below listening to that, it's a metal grinding, screeching noise that can only, in my opinion, be made from metal. The similar sound associated to that would be some of you guys out there know about motors and bearings in motors. When a bearing starts to go bad, that's that screeching, metal twinging, grinding noise, that noise. Also, some people have described it as like a whale screeching off in the distance, or some younger people might mention it like those little roundabout things that are in a kid's park that you jump on and several people can spin around on it. Like if that starts becoming rusty or something like that, it can sound like that. That's one of the other sounds that comes in with that sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't in various areas. Another sound is a sound like some people say the trump of God, or a trumpet, or a Jewish religious shofar, which is a ram's horn. They blow that. It's very loud, trumpety, bassy, trumpety sound. That also comes in and that comes out. That's associated with it. We don't have that sound here that I've heard yet in this area. We have the hum, the rumblings, the percussions, the little booms, the screeching, metal screeching noise, but that's about it so far in this region. One of the other sounds associated with it is like a choir of voices, a bunch of baritones and alto voices mixed in together, making like a chanting, humming sound, almost like a choir humming a little melody. I'm trying to think if there's other sounds that are associated with. Those are the only ones that really come to mind right now. There may be 1 or 2 others that I missed on, but that's pretty much it. My thoughts on the matter are, I know I've seen one of the websites where they debunk videos and stuff like that, and they're debunking things based on what people say, and the people are saying it's coming from the sky, and I can't tell where it's coming from. It's coming from all over in the sky when I try to hear it. And then you got other people saying, oh, well, that's bogus because there is no metal in the sky. What a wacko, and what's he thinking? And I agree, there is no metal in the sky. And I don't think that theories that are out there that if it was solar flares, I've lived through 4 of those 11-year solar cycles, and I've never heard any of these noises before. So for it to be natural and be solar flare and solar winds, similar to the ones that create the aurora borealis or cosmic rays from space coming in and hitting the magnetosphere and all that, I'm not buying that, because to me, I've generated these sounds myself several times to try to prove to myself that the only thing that can be making these noises is metal, and tried various experiments at home, and certainly enough, only metal grinding against something can make those different types of resonances and screeching noises. So, that being said, where would we have metal? Not from the sky. We have metal at the Earth's core and the surrounding layers of that. And in my opinion, what it is is that the Earth's core that used to rotate at the rest of the layers, along with the rest of the layers of the Earth, all in one, is now starting to slip. And it's probably not a smooth, perfect steel ball in the middle there. It's probably jagged, and when it does start to slip, it grinds against the next layer, and when it grinds, it sends those vibrations through the earth up towards the surface. And if you're up over that area where it happens to be happening at the time, by the time it hits the earth's crust, those vibrations, they resonate into sound. And I don't know anything, I'm not an audio expert, but in my opinion, you probably don't hear it as soon as it thresholds and breaks ground and hits the air. You probably don't hear it until it goes all the way up through the air, bounces off the ionosphere, and comes back down. And that's when it's resonated into sound. And it's a combination of these noises, and it's definitely a metal grinding noise. And that's why when you listen, you can't tell where it's coming from, because it's bouncing off the curved ionosphere and coming back at you, and it sounds like it's coming from all over the place. So debunk that. I'm sorry that I came out here and hoping that maybe some sounds would be here, but really, some other things I've noticed is it seems to be coming when you hear the sound, and it may last anywhere from 20 minutes to 4 or 5 hours, coming in and out. Sometimes it's constant. The first night that I heard it, I believe, was December 6th. That started at 7 or 8 p.m., somewhere around there, and went on until around 11. Last night it started at around 1 a.m. and went on until a little after 4 a.m. A few nights before that, it started even earlier. It started at like maybe 10 or 11 and went on until 2 or 3. To me, it seems to be coming at like a regular interval, if you want to call that regular. But it's not. It doesn't start at a 24-hour period the next day. It's almost like it doesn't start until a 25 or a 26-hour period later. If that has anything to do with after the Earth makes a complete rotation and then it lags behind, and a couple hours later over the region that you're in, I have no idea. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm a firefighter by trade. I've also noticed some other things for people that are trying to get some information as to, speculate what it could possibly be. In my area, on a couple of the occasions, I didn't experiment with this every time, but what I did was I put my back against a house or a building so that I could only hear the southern region of the sky. So the northern region was being blocked off. And on the nights when the sound was out there, when I did that, you almost couldn't hear the sound. It was like it was blocked off. But then when I put my back against a building so that I could only hear the northern region of the sky and not the southern region, then the noise became more prominent. So I don't know, as maybe the epicenter of where the noise is being directly generated is in an area north of here, a couple hundred miles, and we're on the edge of it, and that's why it's a little bit lower of a sound here. Could be that. It could be that it's louder in some regions because they have a more solid bedrock underneath the ground where they live, and underneath this area, it's not. It's a swampy, boggy clay area. It's crumbly limestone. It's shale, so maybe it doesn't resonate as well through some of these areas. I don't know, but I do know from the first time that I heard it to last night, which is I don't know, from the 6th until now, it's definitely getting louder. So is it possible that if it's only a low rumble in your area, it's going to get louder over the course of a couple of weeks when it happens? Yeah. Some other things that I've noticed when I look at the YouTube videos, it seems like it comes into an area, it stays for a day, it stays for 2, it stays for 3 for a few hour period, and then it goes away. It doesn't come back till a couple of weeks later, or it doesn't come back until a month later. What I noticed here is from the first night that I heard it, it wasn't out there the next 2 nights, although I can't say I was definitively going out religiously on a regular basis to find out if it was, because you have to go on with your life sometimes. It didn't come back until like the 3rd night later, and then it was definitely out then, and then it skipped the night and was out again. And again, like I said, since the 6th, I've heard it 4 times. Last night was the 4th or 5th time. Geez, I'm losing count now because I've been going out too much. After I went to bed, my daughter then recorded it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was hearing it at 1 or 2, and it was loud. It was like a freight train, but then it went away. The odd thing about it is it didn't stay this time. It only lasted for a few minutes. So I'm not convinced that it wasn't a train, but if there aren't any trains really that are that close to my house that would have made that sound like that. But then yet when she said it was freaking her out all night long, she was hearing the noise after we went to bed, and she opened her window and she recorded it with her iPhone, only she recorded it on just the voice audio, so I don't know that we can access that file and put it online. But for what it's worth, those are my thoughts on what's going on. There's definitely something going on. These are not natural sounds. These are not sounds that are man-made. It's some factory that off in a distance is making these sounds. It's just eerily similar. And when I listened to her videos last night, I heard some sounds on hers, or her audio. I heard some sounds on hers that were different than what I've been hearing the few times that I've heard it. The screeching that was coming on there was really loud this time, along with that train noise, and it was very eerily screechy. Just some odd stuff that's going on. Hopefully that gave some people some information that they were looking for or that was needed to draw their own theories on what it may be, which there are several of them out there. Hopefully we can get some definitive answers from somebody that knows what the hell's going on. And until then, we're left to our own devices to try to figure out what it may be, and those are my thoughts on the matter. Take care.